Everybody says to carry around a garbage bag, but how do you use it? Coming up. Well, welcome to my office. What would you rather carry? A garbage bag or a space blanket? Most of the time, a 55-gallon black contractor garbage bag is going to be a better choice than a space blanket. So you want to make sure that it's a big enough one. This is just a normal 55-gallon trash bag, not a contractor bag. Contractor bag you can order in different mil thicknesses. So 3 mil is a good choice. This one, it's a little bit thinner. What can you do with it? Very good. Put a plastic bag over your head. So we're in a situation, it may be raining. It's snowing like it is right now. It snowed a few inches and it's not projected to stop for a while. You want to think about your priorities in a survival situation. Don't start running around. I did that once as a kid in a wintertime situation. And I came back, I found myself at the vehicle somehow, and I was sweating, it was snowing, and it wasn't projected to stop as well. That could have turned into a bad situation if I would have had to stay overnight. So stop, think, observe, plan, inventory your resources, what you have. I have a garbage bag, I have my clothes. So first thing in survival, where's my arms? There's one. I have a garbage bag on me. I cut a hole in it. Notice I didn't cut a hole right on the top. So as the snow is coming down, it's stopping and protecting my head. Now I can think some more. I can observe my situation. I can stay protected and then continue to plan and assess. Now you have your 5 basic needs in survival. That hasn't changed since the beginning of time. You have your health. Am I physically okay? Am I psychologically okay? Am I personal protection? Which includes shelter, clothing, fire, and equipment. First line of defense within your personal protection is your clothing. And so your clothing is definitely important. You want to start out with some good clothing. That's what you have. Then you have your shelter. You want to mini prioritize what goes on within your personal protection. So again, shelter, clothing, fire, and equipment. So clothing is going to be first. Your equipment, you always want to take care of that second. What you have on you, don't lose what you have on you. Then usually you're going to get under some type of shelter before you make a fire. Most of the time, you need to get a shelter first. Take care of yourself before you just run around and collect materials for a fire. Because if it's snowing, if it's raining outside, and you stand next to the fire, you're just going to continue to get wet. So make a shelter, then prepare your fire materials inside your shelter. The shelter that I have right now is I first got under the biggest tree in the area. Look for the biggest thicket, the tallest tree, the thickest tree to get under, and then assess your situation. I had my garbage bag, put that right over the top of me. I'm staying dry, staying protected. So the rule of 3's, you can't survive 3 seconds without your wits. Positive mental attitude is number 1 in a survival situation. You have to tell yourself, I'm getting through this, I'm staying alive. That's number 1. Then it's generally about 3 minutes without oxygen, maybe about 3 hours being exposed, not taking care of your personal protection needs. If you don't have anything on right now and you're not taking care of yourself, then it may be about 3 hours depending on the conditions. And then about 3 days, give or take, without water, and 3 weeks without food depending on the fat reserves of your body. So personal protection, taking care of that. We're taking care of our health. I am physically, for the most part, okay. I cut my hand 3 days ago. I got 5 stitches in my hand. Everybody says be careful, safety, safety, and you think, oh yeah, whatever. I haven't been hurt in a long time. You kind of forget what it's like to be hurt. But if you hurt yourself in a survival situation, how detrimental is it to have one arm or to be limping around? It is not good, and you take for granted just basically the use of your hands, the use of your back, being able to bend down, and being able to walk. So safety really is important. So health is number one on your priorities list. Taking care of yourself, then you have your personal protection. Okay, I've taken care of that. Then you want to get out of there. Do I have phone coverage? That should be the next on your priority. Do I have a space blanket I can put up for a signal flag? Can I stomp something out in the snow? Can I work towards getting recovered? So you have your signaling recovery. Then you have usually your sustenance. Sustenance is just your food and water. So we know that water is more important than food. And so we can keep that in the back of our minds as I'm walking around. We have all this snow here. Maybe I can collect some up, put it in a plastic bag, start getting that melting in between my body layers as I'm meeting my other needs. And then your last order of your priorities is your travel. Do I need to travel? Should I travel, or should I just stay here? Do I need it to affect my own recovery? Do I need to travel to get to better resources? Now I've collected my wits, I decide I want to move around a little bit. Try and find the best spot, and then you can use your garbage bag like a poncho. Move around. Doesn't matter how you look in survival, it matters what works. Yes, I'm wearing a plastic bag on my head. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Now, could I sleep like this? You definitely could. It's gonna be uncomfortable. Clear out the spot, kick all the snow out of the way, insulate yourself from the ground, get some type of boughs, get some type of duff, some dirt and stuff from the ground. Bunch of pine needles, anything that's going to minimize that conduction of your body to the ground. And then just curl up in a ball, rest for a while. You're going to wake up every hour or two, probably stretch a bit, and then sit back down. Maybe you need to move around a bit, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups to stay warm. It's snowing even harder now. I got a different trash bag to show you guys. Here's a larger 55-gallon extra large 3mm trash bag. It's tall. So you can see the benefits of this compared to the other one. It's thicker. The downside to it is just that it takes up more space. Now you can compare this one with the other one and how it has that nice one welded seam of plastic across the top. So I can cut this out from my face, put this on as a poncho, or I could open it up and make a shelter out of it. So you want to ask yourself, do I want to cut a hole in this right here? And then is that going to affect me later on? It's not going to if I cut a little slit right here and if I still open it up for a shelter. So let's do that. Ah! Let me out.
Dad?
What?
What'd you do? Oh, okay. That like hurt your hand or something.
So now you can see on the side view and how it's still protecting the top of my head. Didn't cut a hole in the top, and how much bigger this bag is. Just sitting in a bag under a tree. I'm staying alive for the time being. Maybe until the storm passes over, until I can keep meeting my needs. If I had a tiny, tiny little fire right here, I could light that up and have it going underneath. But I've burned through the plastic before. I've seen people burn through plastic ponchos, you know, or there are other nylon ponchos that they have. I've seen them burn through it because they start to get tired and fall asleep. or you just lose concentration for a couple seconds and it's going to burn a hole in it. So you have to be careful. And the other consideration, if you have a small fire going, is all that smoke is coming up through this and there's no way for it to escape. So a lot of times it's better to hold it over the top of you, this plastic material over the top of you, while having your fire underneath. Maybe warm up, do what you can do, and then once that goes out, you're warmed up, you can just still sit there for a while. Another option that you can do with this large bag is to stuff it full of debris. We've made cattail nests with these. So if you put a whole bunch of cattail fluff in here, a whole bunch of cattail stalks on the bottom, cattail stalks and fluff over the top, but primarily whatever material you have to try and create a little sleeping bag. Yes, it's vapor barrier, so you might get a little bit wet, but it's better than being exposed. So you can stay warm and a little damp inside here, and you have a little bit of ventilation in the front to try and get some of it out. But in the long run throughout the night, it's going to be better to be just a little bit wet than sitting up here just staring at the snow all night. I could turn this into a shelter piece. Pocket line. The knot that works well, that's not in my knot video, is the sheet bend. So it's like a square knot, but it's for joining two different material thicknesses together. Make a biting material come through, come around, come underneath, and you can go once and twice for a double sheet bend, just to make it a little bit more secure. So I'm getting a little bit of protection here. You can lower this because it's still coming in from the sides a bit. So you want to get it nice and low to the ground, maybe as low as you can, and possibly even make a little pub tent style, little tiny A-frame, just very slight. So that's just another option. Tie something up that's going to protect yourself. But this is long enough to sleep under instead of being curled up in a ball in a bag. So that's what you want to do. You can decide when you get there. Woo! Yeah! Thank you so much for coming along and being with me. Let's keep surviving.